You finally said no, and instead of relief, you felt guilty, not angry, not empowered, guilty. You set a boundary. You protected your time. You protected your energy. You protected your peace. And somehow, you felt like the bad one. If that sounds familiar, this isn't weakness, it's conditioning. Most people don't struggle with setting boundaries. They struggle with surviving the guilt that follows, because somewhere along the way, you learned that being loving meant being available. Being good meant being accommodating. Being faithful meant being self-sacrificing. So when you say no, your nervous system reacts like you did something wrong. But here's the question most people never ask. Why does protecting yourself feel like betrayal? Let's slow this down. When you set a boundary, what changes? Someone else feels discomfort. Someone else has to adjust. Someone else doesn't get what they wanted. And if you were raised to prioritize harmony, their discomfort feels like your responsibility. But here's the truth. Discomfort is not damage. Someone being disappointed is not the same as you being unkind. Yet internally, your system treats it like rejection. You feel tension in your chest. You replay the conversation. You wonder if you were too harsh, too distant, too selfish. And then comes the thought, maybe I should have just said yes. That thought is not coming from love. It's coming from fear. Fear of losing connection. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of not being needed. And this is where it gets deeper. If your identity has been built around being dependable, boundaries feel like identity loss. Because if you are not the one who always says yes, who are you? That's why boundaries don't just trigger guilt. They trigger instability. Your system says, this is dangerous. But what if the danger isn't losing others? What if the real danger is losing yourself? Most people who struggle with boundaries were rewarded for overgiving, praised for self-sacrifice, affirmed for endurance. And slowly, their worth became tied to usefulness. So when usefulness decreases, worth feels threatened. Let's pause. Have you ever felt more valued when you were needed? More secure when someone depended on you? More important when you were carrying something for someone else? Then of course boundaries feel wrong, because boundaries reduce dependency, and dependency used to equal connection. But connection built on overextension is fragile, because it requires you to keep shrinking, and shrinking is exhausting. Boundaries are not walls, they are clarity, but clarity disrupts dynamics, and disrupted dynamics create emotional tension, and tension feels like danger to a nervous system trained for harmony. So the guilt you feel is not proof you did something wrong. It is proof you are stepping outside a pattern, and stepping outside patterns feels unsafe at first. Even healthy change can feel like loss. Loss of role, loss of image, loss of familiarity. But here's what most people never consider. If someone can only love you when you overextend, they are not loving you. They are loving access. And boundaries reveal the difference. That realization can feel heavy, because it forces you to see which connections are mutual and which ones were built on your constant availability. Boundaries expose imbalance, and imbalance resists exposure. That resistance shows up as guilt, but guilt is not always moral. Sometimes it is emotional withdrawal from a familiar pattern. You are not cruel for having limits. You are human, and limits are part of design. But we're just getting started, because the guilt you feel has deeper roots than you think. Let's go deeper. Guilt after setting a boundary is rarely about morality. It's about attachment. When you grow up in environments where love felt conditional, your nervous system learns something subtle. Connection must be maintained at all costs. And what maintains connection? Compliance, agreement, availability. If harmony kept you safe, Your brain equated self-sacrifice with survival. So now, as an adult, when you say no, your nervous system doesn't interpret it as healthy limit. It interprets it as risking connection. And risking connection feels dangerous, even if logically you know it's healthy. This is why boundaries feel calm in your mind, but tense in your body. Your heart rate increases slightly. Your thoughts replay the interaction. You wonder if you hurt them. You imagine them upset, and your system wants to repair. Not because you were wrong, but because your body wants safety. Here's something powerful. If you feel intense guilt after a small boundary, that often means you've been overextended for a long time. Your system is not reacting to the moment. It's reacting to the pattern shift, because patterns feel predictable, and predictable feels safe. When you stop overgiving, you disrupt predictability, and unpredictability feels threatening to attachment systems. But here's the part that changes everything. Healthy relationships can survive your limits. Unhealthy ones depend on your lack of them. Let that settle. If someone becomes cold, angry, or distant simply because you said no respectfully, that reaction is information, not condemnation. Information. Boundaries reveal the maturity level of a relationship, but we rarely think of it that way. Instead, we internalize their reaction as proof we did something wrong. We think, I shouldn't have upset them. But emotional discomfort is not emotional harm. And someone feeling disappointed is not the same as someone being wounded. There's another layer most people never examine. If you are used to being the stable one, the strong one, the dependable one, others may unconsciously rely on your lack of limits. Your availability becomes their comfort. So when you introduce boundaries, they feel the shift, and their discomfort can feel intense. But their discomfort is not your responsibility. It is their adjustment process. Let's pause here. What if the guilt you feel is simply the withdrawal symptoms of people-pleasing? Because people-pleasing gives short-term relief. You say yes, they're happy, tension disappears, you feel safe, but long-term, resentment builds, exhaustion builds, quiet frustration builds, and then you start feeling distant, not from them, from yourself, and self-abandonment creates anxiety. This is where faith-based emotional intelligence becomes crucial. Sacrifice without awareness becomes self-erasure. Compassion without boundaries becomes depletion, and service without limits becomes burnout. But here's the deeper spiritual layer. Many believers confuse boundaries with selfishness because they were taught that love means self-denial. But self-denial in Scripture was about ego, not about eliminating your humanity. There's a difference between humility and self-abandonment. Humility says, I am not the center. Self-abandonment says, I don't matter. Those are not the same. When you eliminate yourself to keep others comfortable, you are not practicing love. You are practicing fear. Fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of being misunderstood. And fear-based compliance is not virtue. It is survival. This is where the shift happens. Boundaries are not rejection of others. They are protection of clarity. They communicate, this is where I end and you begin. And clarity strengthens healthy connection. Because without clarity, resentment replaces love. And resentment eventually damages what you were trying to protect. So the guilt you feel is not evidence that you were wrong. It is evidence that you are growing. Growth always disrupts old dynamics, and disruption feels uncomfortable. But discomfort is not danger, it is transition, and you are in transition. So how do you move forward without collapsing back into old patterns? First, expect the guilt. Don't be surprised by it. When you set a boundary after years of overextending, Your nervous system will react. Your body may tense. Your thoughts may spiral. You may feel the urge to apologize for something that didn't require an apology. That reaction does not mean you were wrong. It means you are rewiring. Rewiring feels uncomfortable before it feels normal. So when guilt shows up, instead of saying, "I shouldn't feel this," try saying, "This is growth discomfort." That small shift prevents you from undoing your boundary. Second, separate kindness from compliance. You can be kind and still say no. You can be respectful and still protect your limits. You can love someone and still refuse what drains you. If someone can only experience you as loving when you are available without limits, that is not love. That is access, and access without boundaries leads to exhaustion. Third, stop over-explaining. When you are uncomfortable with your own limit, you try to justify it excessively. You add long explanations. You soften your words repeatedly. You apologize for your tone. You try to make the boundary painless. But healthy adults can tolerate mild discomfort. You do not need to manage their emotional reaction. Clarity is enough. "I'm not available for that. I can't commit to this. That doesn't work for me." Short, respectful, firm. And then silence. Silence is part of the boundary. If you rush to fill the silence, you weaken the clarity. Fourth, allow people to adjust. Some will, some won't, and that information matters. Boundaries don't just protect your time, they filter your relationships. Healthy people adapt, unhealthy dynamics resist, and resistance reveals what was hidden. This is where fear often rises. What if they leave? What if the relationship changes? Yes, it might. But a relationship that only survives your self-erasure is not sustainable. You were not created to disappear to keep connection alive. You were created with limits. Limits are not flaws, they are structure. Even spiritually, love is not limitless access. There were moments when Jesus withdrew, moments when he stepped away, moments when he did not respond to every demand, not because he lacked compassion, but because he understood capacity. Capacity matters. When you ignore capacity, you create quiet resentment, and resentment damages love more than boundaries ever will. If you have felt guilty for protecting your peace, hear this clearly. Peace is not selfish. Clarity is not cruelty. Limits are not rejection. They are alignment. Alignment with your values, alignment with your capacity, alignment with your design. You can be generous without being depleted. You can be compassionate without being consumed. You can serve without sacrificing your identity. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They are about showing up whole. And whole people love better because they are not operating from exhaustion. They are operating from choice, and love that is chosen is stronger than love that is coerced by guilt. So the next time you say no, and the guilt rises, pause, breathe, and remind yourself this discomfort is not wrongdoing, it's growth. You are not becoming cold, you are becoming clear. You are not becoming distant, you are becoming defined. And defined people are healthier than blurred ones. If this message resonates, maybe it's because you've been carrying more than you admit. Maybe it's because you've been shrinking quietly. Maybe it's because you're tired of resenting the people you care about. Boundaries will feel uncomfortable at first, but resentment feels worse in the long run. And you deserve relationships that respect your limits. You deserve connection that does not require self-erasure. You deserve to be present without being depleted. If this reflection helped you see your guilt differently, this space exists for conversations like this. Not dramatic, not extreme, just honest. You are not wrong for protecting your peace. You are not selfish for having limits. and you are not alone in learning how to set them. Growth is uncomfortable, but it is worth it, one clear boundary at a time. Before you go, take a slow breath. Whatever you're carrying today, you don't have to carry it alone. You are seen, you are known, and you are deeply valued. If you need prayer, if you need clarity, if you simply need a quiet place to reflect, this space is here for you. Stay grounded, stay gentle with yourself, and remember, you are not alone.